Okay guys, so now I want to show you a few ways that you can make some very simple, cheap training tools. If we're talking about something like a pair of brass knuckles, all I'm using is a single sheet of children's jigsaw mat, the kind you can get at any hardware store or at Walmart, for example. You normally get, 3 or 4 of these panels for about 15 to 20 bucks. Super good. We cut them up, we duct tape them, and then this gives us an excellent pair of brass knuckles that are safe to use. In exactly the same way, if I want to make a training version of a sap, all I'm using is maybe 2 plies of a slightly thicker jigsaw mat, and then I'm applying a little bit of a strap. But again, it's fundamentally just foam, but it gives us all of the same capacity, and there's still a little bit of sting in there, so it's safer to train with. When we get into something like a blackjack, Blackjacks come in lots of different forms. This one is leather with a spring interior and a little bit of a metal hit. And part of the use is that flexibility to really understand the shock it sends through. So one way to make one that is quite inexpensive but still packs a little bit of a wallop is to take a simple door spring. So this is just the kind of spring you would use to keep your door from sort of opening too wide. I got this at Home Depot for about $2, right? It is a single piece 5-inch door spring, so that's all we're looking at. So that's about $1 or $2, and then I'm taking a very basic plumbing coupling, a galvanized pipe. This particular one is a 1/2 inch. That's what I'm going to be using as my end. What I usually do is I take a piece of foam or some padding of some sort, and I stuff it into the end like this. What that does is it gives me a little bit of a stopper so that when I put my spring inside the tube, this won't continue to push out and up. So it's very important to have some kind of an ender here, otherwise when we start to tape, I find very often the spring will push through. Now I normally start off with duct tape. This is T-Rex brand duct tape, which is quite good. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few end pieces over it. I like to do 1 or 2 very long pieces that will basically attach to the spring and keep that in a good position. Now for the strap, you can use pretty much anything you want, but one really cheap option is to use just a basic recycling bag. It's got a decent strap on it, and what I'll do is I will usually cut into the length of the bag a little bit. From there I like to place the spring sap into the piece of fabric, and that's going to allow me to fold it over. And again, I'll just use a few little pieces of tape to keep this in place. Now, if you wanted a really inexpensive actual street use sap, you could literally just make this tape job a little bit cleaner and stop right here, and you would have a perfectly functioning devastating sap that is on par with anything that you're going to find wrapped in leather. So it's about the exact same weight, it has the same flex, it still passes through the target when you hit, has good whip, and you could adjust the length and the weight, of course, as you wish. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just pad it up a little bit so it's a little bit safer to train with, and then seal it up with some black duct tape to make it look a little bit more authentic. This is just a really simple, easy, cheap way to make these without having to break your bank. So you can equip your training environment with a few of these and get into some really good scenario and reality training using your blackjacks and your saps.